Welcome to the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast. Today's episode, Everything is Changing.
Welcome to the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast with Scott Whitwam, your blueprint to financial abundance. Settle in as we explore the mindset and methods for wealth building through real estate.
Welcome back. I'm Scott Whitwam, and today's episode is Everything is Changing. Are you ready? I mean, there's a lot of changes about to happen. There's always change anytime that there's a new administration coming in to implement their ideas, their plans for America, and it always affects us. It always affects the economies. It affects, how we do everything. And a lot of times, just as citizens in the country, we just don't really pay much attention to it. We just go about our lives, and then a year or two down the road, we're wondering, well, why has this changed? Why has this gotten so good? Why has this gotten so bad? But I'm telling you right now that everything is about to change for us because we've had some dynamic changes. In 2015, 2016, the economy was really stagnant. There was lots of opportunities, but the economy as a whole was kind of stagnant. And at the end of 2016, we started to see that change with the change of the administration with the first Trump administration. And by 2017, things were already starting to change. 2017, 18, 19, the economy, again, was roaring. Inflation was low. Employment was up. The real estate market was really good. And then obviously, as we got into 2020, we hit a little bit of a bump in the road called COVID-19. And but the economy was so good, it really kind of carried us into 20 and 21 and the first part of 2022. New administration change from the election of 2020 and 2021. New administration came in, made a lot of changes, had different energy policy, had different public policy, made a lot of changes, and we started to feel those effects. And for us who are in real estate and real estate investing, really it was about May of 2022 that you could really see the environment start to change. We went from having multiple offers on homes and homes selling in mere minutes. We'd put a sign up, we'd throw it in the MLS, and within a day we'd have an offer, or maybe 2 days we'd have 3 or 4 offers. Some properties we'd have 15 or 20 offers, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, investors out there, because you went through this, right, in 2022. And then by the time we got to May, all of a sudden it was like, how come nobody's looking at this flip I just did? Where are the renters? My property's sitting on the market longer. I'm getting bad offers. Not only am I not getting multiple offers, I'm getting bad offers. And we saw that May, June, July, the real transformation. I also own a real estate brokerage, so we were trying to explain this to clients why all of a sudden their neighbor's house sold in a day, but their house has been on the market for 90 days. And it was just a real transformation in how things. But things are about to change again because we have a change in presidents. We have something that obviously in my lifetime, in your lifetime, you've never experienced. We actually have an incoming president that we've seen his public policy at work before. I think only one other time in history has there been a president who served a 4-year term, then lost an election, and then 4 years later came back, ran, and won an election. Well, the nice thing is we know what public policy looked like between 2017 and 2021 during President Trump's first term. There's this change in president with President Donald Trump coming back into office with his plan. And I can tell you right now that he didn't wait until he took office. His plan he was starting to implement right after he won the election in November. And you could see that by all the people from all over the world, all the dignitaries coming in to meet with him, all of the leaders from other countries coming in to meet with him to discuss how they could fit or work in with his public policy, the policies that he has announced. So the first thing we're going to encounter is this change in presidents that is going to change the outlook of the economy, the outlook of manufacturing, the outlook of energy, and I think you're going to find it change the outlook of the financial markets also. Certainly, Treasury is being replaced. Certainly, President Trump has said that Jerome Powell has to go. And I think that we're going to see a new Fed chairman. I think that Congress is going to support some of these ideas that are coming in with the change of the president. So get ready. We got a change in presidents. President Donald Trump is going to begin to implement over the next months these plans. The second thing is we're going to have a change in public policy because of him implementing the change in his plans. As public policy changes, it will filter down through all of the different administrative agencies, all of his cabinet positions. One of the things that we've never had before that we're going to have now that I think is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to see how this plays out, and it's called this appointment of the Doge twins. Ramaswamy and Musk are appointed to help to start cutting federal spending, find a way to slash $2 trillion from the federal budget. Now, here's the interesting thing. The United States of America, I'm coming up on 60 years old. So the United States of America, in my lifetime, I can't remember a time where they have not generated enough income in order to support the core functions of government. But public policy always seems to want to spend more than we bring in. And then, we blame it on the fact that we're not raising enough money because taxes aren't high enough. We need to tax people more. And, that whole cycle begins. Well, now we got people coming in saying, hey, how can we eliminate one of these 412 different agencies? Yeah, we've got over 400 federal agencies that are all costing us money, which slows our economy and makes it more difficult for us as investors, talking as real estate investors, to invest. And so how do we start eliminating some of these agencies and getting sound public policy back so that we can benefit from it? And we're going to start to see these in the energy sector. When the energy sector takes off, we start selling our energy products globally again. We'll become an energy leader again, and that's going to bring prosperity to America. And when people have prosperity, it helps us as real estate investors because it brings a whole lot more clients back into our industry, back into our businesses. And so I think you're going to see just with that, but also the change in public policy regarding tariffs and manufacturing. I think this is going to play out well. We saw it in the first term of the Trump administration. And this is going to help us as real estate investors. If you missed the last podcast, I talked about why we need to be in the market now. And these are some of the reasons. The third thing I want to talk about is the bond markets. Now, this can get really boring really fast. This can get really down in the weeds, a lot of numbers and stuff. But let's just kind of keep it on the simple edge of things. The Fed chairman and the different Fed branches around the nation, when they come out and they make the determination to lower the bank-to-bank interest rates, that is the money cost for a bank in order to acquire money to lend. It's what they lend each other back and forth money at. It doesn't affect the mortgage interest rates. In real estate investing, a lot of our business is determined on mortgage interest rates. Can a buyer afford the interest rate and then afford to acquire our property? As investors, if we're leveraging our properties, can we afford the interest rates? Well, the mortgage-backed securities market or the bond market determines what our mortgage rates are going to be, and they're not tied to the Fed interest rate. So back in September, when we saw the Fed cut 50 basis points, we also saw the bond market drop. So we saw the Fed rate drop, we saw the bond market drop, and we saw this little mini boom in real estate between the last couple of weeks of September, first week October. And then what happened? The bond markets all started going higher. And what we've seen is mortgage rates that dropped down to about 6%, bounce back up to 7%, kind of in the areas where we currently are. But our bond market, our mortgage-backed bond markets, when I take a look all the way back to 2016, when I look at the chart all the way back to 2016, I can see that our mortgage bond rate market right now is the highest that it's been from the time President Trump was first in office. which tells me that if he implements similar policies to what he implemented in his first term, we're going to get similar results to what we got in his first term, which means the bond markets will begin to come down and lower. We're going to see inflation begin to come down, and we're going to see interest rates come down. Now, we may not get down to the 3%, 3.5% kind of threshold we did get down to, but certainly we're going to get sub 5. And so it's important that the bond market's change in the right direction for us, and I believe it's coming. I believe it's one of the changes about to happen. It's the reason why I also believe that now is the time to get in to the real estate market as investors and get on the front end of this and get properties under contract, get them in your queue for being rehabbed, whether you're going to hold properties or whether you're going to flip properties. Now is the time. And just be careful to make sure that you're buying things according to the numbers. Don't get over excited about this and just trust some wholesaler and find out you bought something for $50,000 or $100,000 too high. You may not be able to wait long enough on that property. So we still got to buy by the numbers, but get ready. I think there's some good changes coming in the bond market. The other thing, number 4, I think that's going to help us is energy and manufacturing. I touched on this a little bit, but we are going to open up exports of natural gas. We're going to open up more exploration. We're going to open up the oil fields. I had friends who were working in the oil fields, in the oil industry, back in 2016, 2017, and 2018 who were doing really good, making big 6-figure incomes in their work in the oil industry. And in 2021, all of that went away. All of that energy production and stuff, they went away, and they all ended up having to go do something. One's a truck driver, one's actually now helping his wife in his business. Another one went into contracting. But we're going to see energy open up again, and we're going to see the United States begin to produce energy, and it's going to bring back good-paying jobs. Good-paying jobs means more good-paying customers for our investment properties. Whether it's the stuff that we're rehabbing, whether it's housing, multifamily housing to house people in the energy sector, I think it's going to be great, and we're going to see real jobs begin to come back. And they're going to come back in the area of manufacturing. We're going to see stuff begin again to be built in the United States. And we're going to see some tariffs against some of these countries who have advantages against the United States in order to encourage manufacturing to come back. And that, again, will be good because full employment, the unemployment rate is such a ruse. What we need to look at is labor participation. That's what really matters. The unemployment rate only counts people who are looking for work or receiving government assistance to look for work. So they're on unemployment. But when they drop out of that or they drop out of the job market, they're no longer counted. But what we're going to see, I believe, is we're going to see something that's going to that we haven't seen in a long time. We're going to see things start to tend towards full employment, which is job participation, labor participation of Americans. And when that happens, it's going to create a strong and vibrant real estate economy. And so you need to get ready for it. The 5th thing is all signs point to this coming real estate recovery. And I think that what we've seen, I don't know wherever you're at, but I've seen this in several different markets as a real estate broker, where the economy, when it changed in 2022, it really took till about 2023, where real estate agents who were part-time or not producing volume, they got out of the industry. They went back to landscaping, grocery store work, manufacturing, whatever they could find. They went back and got good jobs and got out of the real estate industry. So the level of real estate agents went down. But I think what you're going to see is this real estate recovery begin to happen. You're going to see people try to get back into this. Investors, you're going to see iBuyers come back into the market, and you're going to see real estate agents come back into the market. There's going to be a lot more competition as this begins to grow, but that's good because it shows that there is a strong recovery about to happen, and I think that we're going to see it. Now, it's not going to happen. President Trump just took took office again. It's not going to happen, I don't think, in the first 30 or 60 days, but I think you start looking at 90 days and beyond, you're going to start seeing signs that happen, things happening quicker than what may be normal in a presidential transition. I think there's some real change coming, and I want to get ready for it. I'm already looking, at real estate statistics and where we're at, where we're going, and I really think this coming year is going to be strong. Certainly 25, 26 are going to be very strong recovery periods. And I don't know about you, but as a full-time real estate investor and a real estate guy, I am ready for this industry to recover. And I think it's going to bring a lot of prosperity into our investors. We just got to remember, always invest with being risk adverse and knowing what your numbers are. And I think it's going to be a very good, at least 2 to 4 years. And if we get some of this public policy stuff done right, it could actually last a lot longer and really bring prosperity back to the United States, back to all of our businesses. And yeah, I know, I hear your comments. I get your emails. I know that we're all ready for it. Amen. All right. Time to close. That's all for this week's Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast. And thank you for taking time to join me. I invite you to subscribe today and be part of our growing community. Leave us a review. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. You can always find the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Podcast, YouTube, or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. This is Scott Whitwam. Be sure to join me on our next episode of the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast, where we're wealth building through real estate.